Welcome to the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This is the United Stand and we have got you covered all day. It is Manchester United against Burnley. We're doing the countdown to kick-off. You'll have your watch along. You'll have the fans forum after it as we dissect exactly what is going to happen at Old Trafford today. And as always, we want your interaction in the comments section. It's absolutely nothing without you. But hope everybody is well, and at the risk of setting Mords off, I think I nearly killed him last week when I said this. Please finger that like button. Which brings me perfectly in to welcome the guest of the show. Very familiar face, Mords. I'm sorry to do it so early on.
Yeah, no, you caught me off guard, man. I don't know.
I left it a bit late last week, didn't I, mate? How are we? How are we?
I'm good. Whenever it's a nice day in Manchester, I always feel like there's something good's going to happen.
Yeah. We're going to curse it now. I said before, I was like, what a lovely day it is in Manchester looking out. And I thought, I just see these rain clouds coming across. So like, we're going to ruin your day. But obviously, we're here for Manchester United against Burnley. Yep. There's loads to get into. And very shortly, we will be joined by our roving reporter, Sam. I think he's in America at the minute, but we're hoping... Oh, Miami he is. Miami, yeah.
Sam's in Miami.
Nice. Where would you rather be in the world? There's one. There's a poll. Manchester or Miami?
Yeah, so that's a difficult one, you know.
Well, we've got the game today at least.
Yeah, true.
But he is going to be joined by a few United fans, American United fans, which I'm looking forward to. So we'll throw some questions. But the main thing from Sam will be that he's got the team.
Yeah.
So that will be breaking news here on the United Stand. You can wait up until 2 o'clock when it will officially break, but we're going to bring it to you as an exclusive. So stay tuned here on the United Stand. But let's have a brief look back, Mords. Midweek, we did the forum. We beat Sheffield United 4-2. In terms of a performance, was it much better from what we've seen previously? Obviously, the thing with United at the minute is you don't know what you're going to get. But, I mean, it was Sheffield United, and you think we should really be beating teams like that. I
mean, we said the same thing about Coventry. We should be beating teams like that. I mean, yeah, we did win. I always got to keep reminding them that we did win the game. But the thing with United, which I mean, it's been a recurring thing all season, is we play good in like sprouts. It's like sections of the game. We choose to play very well. I mean, like I said, with the Coventry game, we played well up until what? I think half time, really, or let's say 60, 70 minutes, and then we kind of just gave up, or we kind of lost concentration, and then obviously the game ended up 3-3.
We did kind of have that, you know, at Sheffield United again. You think, even when they took the lead, totally against the run of play, I thought, but it was a bad mistake, but you do think, it's happening again.
Yeah, literally. Again. I mean, going down twice against Sheffield, there's no excuse. They're not even fighting to stay in the league anymore. They know they're getting relegated. Yeah. They're so far, no offense to any Sheffield fans in it, but you guys are so far like 20th that there's no, let me not even say anything, but they're probably not going to stay. They're probably not going to stay in the Premier League. They're a championship team right now. So the fact that we're going down twice against them, and I think their captain is like 20 years old and he just made his debut like last month, and that he's captain in Sheffield. That's how like in a bit of a mess their team is right now, and the fact that United are at home, going down twice, almost losing the game. I mean, luckily Bruno and a couple of other players, Hoyland got a goal. They managed to claw back out of it and get the win. But
so does it really say more about Manchester United and where we're at this moment in time?
100%. I remember when we played Bournemouth, and did we get the win? I can't remember the result. But I remember being on the forum, and I said, look, yes, we are the bigger team. We do have the bigger name players, and our players are a lot more expensive, and it's a bigger club in general. But when I looked at them player for player, we didn't look better than them. There wasn't like a clear evidence of, you know what, we actually have a better team than Bournemouth right now. It didn't seem like that. It seemed like genuinely Bournemouth, their players were just better than our players, and tactically and whatnot, they just outperformed us. And like I said, that's been the kind of the case the whole season. It looked the same at points during Coventry, looked the same at points during Sheffield, where I'm looking at the players on the pitch and I'm thinking, well, our players are making more mistakes than their players. Our players are not sprinting as much as their players. Our players are not, our first touch isn't as good as their first touch. And it's like, we shouldn't be at a point where man for man, we don't look better than these teams. We should be at a point where, you know what, man for man, bit better than them, but maybe tactically we're not set up in the right way. But everything's kind of up in the air right now. It's just a bit of a mess.
You would say that Manchester United at this moment in time really are a collective sort of group of individuals.
Yeah.
Definitely playing off moments.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we've seen that. We've seen it a lot last season as well, didn't we? Where, yes, Marcus Rashford scored a hell of a lot of goals last season. And you know, it's a difficult one to look at, but I say that word moments because we've got players that are capable of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not really sustainable, is it?
No, 100%.
You talk about a Bournemouth, whoever it is, these teams, Brentford, come up against United and they feel like they've got a real chance.
Yeah.
And I think today will be the exact same for Burnley.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, they've got a bit more of a chance of getting out of relegation. I think they're 3 points off Forest, who are 17th or 16th.
They're fighting for their
So
lives.
they are actually they've got more of a reason to win than we do. Let's put it like that. Because we are actually fighting for anything right now. We could say we're fighting for fifth, but are we? We're pretty far off fifth right now. Tottenham. So they technically have more of a reason to actually go out there and think, you know what, we need to get 3 points. And end of the day, sometimes these games come down to who wants it more. It's not even necessarily about who the better team is. Who genuinely wants to win this game more? And if Burnley come out and they think, you know what, we're going to take it to United, we're going to play in the front foot, we're going to attack them, we're going to get goals, we're going to defend for our lives, you never know, they could get a result. Hopefully they don't, and we get the result at home, but you never know.
It'd be nice. And a team like United, you think we beat Sheffield United on paper before the season started. If you looked at these kind of fixtures towards the end of the season, the worry, the issue is at the minute, and you kind of nearly answered the question before, but I was going to ask you, you know, exactly what are Manchester United playing for from now till the end of the season? Does this now become an audition for certain players that aren't in the team? An audition to get into the FA Cup final. Obviously, the Europa League carrot is still being dangled. Yeah. There might be some people. I mean, I am very positive, but you mentioned the C word, Champions League, and you'd have to be drinking something very strong to make an argument that United could actually, you know, make the champion. Mathematically, it's not impossible. But when you look at the gap, the way that Aston Villa, Tottenham are going about their business, it's just made it. And it wasn't that long ago. We were within touching distance.
We were close. We were so close.
It just shows you 4 or 5 games there where there's been a drop off. Again, these players letting you down, and you think, you know, and you wanted to give yourself that fighting chance coming towards the end of the season, you know, still be there, still be in the mix, and the drop-off's been shocking, hasn't it?
It's been terrible. It's genuinely been terrible. I think it was those 3 games, the Bournemouth game, the Liverpool game, and I think the Chelsea game. That run of games where we gave up, 7 points or 8 points, something like that, out of 9.
I remember being asked on the forum. I think Beth said to us, them 3 games, 9 points on offer. How many do you think you'll get? Now, me being an absolute clown, I was like 9 points.
9 out of 9.
Come on, we can do this. And then I kind of sat back, but really I was like, 7 points. I thought, looking ahead, I was like you say, Bournemouth, Chelsea, was really confident. But you look at the manner of being 3-2 up against Chelsea at that stage. Even Bournemouth, we didn't. It was Bournemouth, wasn't it? Or was it Brentford?
Brentford. Oh, sorry, Brentford. Sorry, Brentford. Yeah.
We didn't play well at all in that game. We managed to take the lead late on with Mason Mount, and you think just see that game out. And that's been a huge issue, is not being able, taking the lead and within minutes, kind of surrendering it. And you have to see that out. Is it a mentality issue with the players? Or is it Eric Ten Hag? Some people will say, game management, you need to shut up shop and see this one out. 100%.
It's definitely a mixture of both of them. But I was thinking this the other day, and I spoke to one of my friends, he's a United fan as well, and we were talking about the Coventry game, about how, we were 3-0 up. Literally nearly any other team in the Premier League, 3-0 up against Coventry, they're probably going to see the game out. And a lot of people blame Ten Hag for his subs. And yes, I understand. I'm not even trying to say he made the right subs, but Ten Hag should be able to bring on Eriksen and Antony in a game where he's 3-0 up against Coventry and we win the game. That shouldn't be a bad sub. Like, it was, let me not say it was a bad sub. It didn't help us looking back in hindsight.
Yeah, it should have.
But he should be able to do that. He should be able to bring, in fact, he should be able to bring on anyone on the bench, in my opinion.
At that stage,
we should 100%, he should be confident in his players to say, you know what, Eriksen's not a child. He's like 30 years old. Like, he should be able to come on the pitch. Antony, he's not a new signing anymore. He's been playing at a high level of football for a very long time, and he's £90 million. He should be able to come on the pitch, and we should be able to see the game out. But the fact that he's done that, and you can argue different reasons as to why they managed to come back. Some of the goals were a bit lucky, whatnot. But the fact that they managed to actually come back from 3-0 potentially because of the subs, it's worrying. And I think that's why Ten Hag is actually scared to make risks when it comes to his substitutions or his team selection, because he's making these subs at a point in the game where he should be comfortable, and these teams are coming back. So he's probably thinking, I'm actually scared now. Should I bring on an Eriksen at 45 minutes? Should I bring on an Ahmad? Should I bring on these players? Because he's doing these substitutions and it's not working out for him. Should I start Ahmad over Garnacho, or Rashford, or should I start, I don't know, a particular set? I mean, I haven't got any centre-backs right now, but should I start certain players? And it's backfiring on him, so that's potentially a reason why he's scared now to make certain decisions. There's
a quote, I will bring this in later on, Fabrizio Romano has come out with today. Erik Ten Hag's been quoted basically along the lines of talking about squad depth and when United might possibly compete for a Premier League title. But I think you're absolutely right there. Squad depth, you're looking at bringing players on the bench. But in Ten Hag's defence, I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson used to do this. If United were 3-0 up against a Coventry, you bring on a few kids, don't you? And you think it's party time.
Yeah.
Really, you should be bringing on players that, again, go out there. You've got experience in that team that should be able to see it out, regardless of who's on the pitch. Bring a couple of the youngsters on. Let them get a feel for it. There's not huge pressure on them because you're in a winning position, and at 3-0 at Wembley against the Championship side, you should be coasting.
It should be
no pressure on that younger player. Go out there, lad.
Have fun.
You've got half an hour here to go out and express yourself. But like you say, for some reason, he makes these changes, which we can argue about squad depth. But when you're talking about international players, these aren't youngsters. These are players that have done it at top level, internationals. They should be able to come on and see the game out. And for that reason, it depends where you sit on the fence. But I do think Erik Ten Hag's had it a little bit tough.
Yeah,
and you do look at the players and think sometimes, are you really giving it everything for this manager?
Yeah, that's literally what I was saying. It's just a bit harsh, and this isn't even me trying to defend Ten Hag, because I'm really just on the edge right now. I don't actually know. Well, I don't actually know exactly how his season's going to end, if he's going to stay or not. That's another conversation. But I do think in certain situations it is a bit harsh the way how people critique Ten Hag, because there's decisions that he's making which he should be making. Yeah. Anybody else in that situation would probably make the same decision as well, because he's not making dumb decisions. They're not like, I don't understand why you're making that decision. No, they're reasonable. There's a valid reason as to why he's making decisions, but they're obviously not working out for him. So a big part of the blame has to go on these players. It has to. And like I said, it's one or the other. Sometimes it's Ten Hag, sometimes it's the players, but it's an equal, I'd say, blame that you can put on everyone. Yeah,
we've got a couple of super chats. Let's get through them. I was speaking of the great man, Sir Alex Ferguson, before. I don't think this is him. I'm pretty sure he's not on YouTube anyway, and he certainly wouldn't call himself Fergie's Red Nose, but I do like that name. Fergie's Red Nose, thank you very much, says, was at the Sheffield match, Antony awful, Maguire slow, Bruno dragged us through. Looking forward to the summer now. I'm shattered with this team. I think that's one that every United fan can. It's very rare you get towards the end of a season where you're actually hoping. I know we've got the FA Cup to look forward to, and I know there's some United fans that are absolutely dreading it. Yeah. That is something to look forward to, but you do just think, I can't wait for this season to end.
Honestly.
Summer transfers. It's key that Manchester United really get recruitment right this summer. But Flash Talks is in there as well. I knew this one was coming, so prepare yourself for it. In the super chat says, Kev, is Steve cooking crumbs off his belly? Had to get that one in. Steve, oh, yeah, you know that one was coming. But on the super chat for Fergie's Red Nose, Bruno dragged us through. I did want to bring that one in, actually. I had that down as a little thing we could talk about. Bruno Fernandes.
Constantly dragging us.
Is he getting back to his best? Because there has been critics. You know from yourself being on the fan forum, I know Ricky's not a huge fan, thinks he's wasteful, gives the ball away, but just recently, especially the Sheffield United game, again, I know it's a difficult one to judge because it's only Sheffield United and this and that, but Eriksen being in that midfield, certainly it looked a lot calmer, Bruno, a bit. Is that because he's looking behind and thinking, you know, and the fact that Rashford wasn't playing, you've got players that were actually pressing and that Bruno didn't have to be erratic, you know, running around like that headless chicken. Yeah,
I've always said one thing about Bruno the bitch is, you know, for me, it's one of the main reasons why I don't understand the hate anyway, and I think he definitely should be a big part of Man United's plan going forward, is the fact that he's like a luxury player for us. He can do things which genuinely nobody else on the pitch can do. And we've had a few of these players over the past. We've had Pogba, we've had, you know, etc. A bunch of players in the past where they've got the ability to do certain things, like score certain goals, make certain passes, which, like I said, other players on the pitch, they can't make those passes or they can't score those goals. And Bruno's one of the players that can do it. And he has saved us. I mean, the last time we played Burnley, he literally scored a goal that nobody else on the pitch could have scored. Yeah. And that's why we won the game. Yeah. And that's one of the main reasons why I think that Bruno should 100% be part of the team going forward.
We have a bit of breaking news for you here on the United Stand. It is to do with the starting 11. It is to do with Marcus Rashford. He's obviously made the news recently. Marcus Rashford not in the starting 11 today. We're being told it is a minor injury, but for the second game in a row, Marcus Rashford will not play.
Wow.
Will Manchester United miss him? Really? Against Sheffield United, you should be good enough. Yeah. You know, regardless of who you play in them forward positions. Yeah. I do think it made a bit of a difference intensity-wise, because for whatever reason, Rashford has certainly, I'm saying, not looked interested, but the pressing style, it does look a bit lost out there for whatever reason that is. But we're being told it's a minor injury. Rashford will not be in the starting 11. So in terms of Burnley today, you haven't got Rashford, but we've got other players, haven't we? I mean, I was in the van this morning on my way here, and I'm banging the drum saying Amad Diallo.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why anyone should be concerned. Based on what we've seen this season, there's no reason why anyone should be concerned right now, because, like you said, we've still got Garnacho, we've still got Amad Diallo, who, in my opinion, Diallo's put in performances every time he's played. There's not been a game where I thought, he's way out of his depth here, he's not going to be able to handle it. No, he's put in performances, and we're playing Burnley today. And again, no offence to Burnley, but this is a game where Amad should be able to shine. He should be able to show his capabilities. He's got a full, maybe not full 90, but he's going to have a good period of play time where we can really see how good he is, and for him to really get his foot out there. So I mean, I think a lot of United fans are probably going to be happy that Rashford's not playing, because a lot of people have been waiting for, you know, the day that Amad gets his opportunity to start the game and really get to show his capabilities, get to show his talent, get to show his work ethic. So yeah, I'm not really not too bothered, I'll be honest.
You're a man that likes fascinating facts, aren't you?
Yeah.
You remember this last week, so I'm going to hit you again, actually. I'd actually made a note of this, but on Amad Diallo, I know he was at Sunderland for a season. Yeah. Diallo has not started a Premier League game for Manchester United in nearly 3 years. Not started a Premier League game. And he is used as an impact player. He come on at 2-1 down, didn't he, midweek? Yeah. He finds himself in these situations. Yeah. And that's why I'm banging the drum. On my van cam this morning, a lot of people were responding, why? He come on against Sheffield United, didn't make much of an impression. You know, what? My reasoning is for that fact, you know, that there's other players, let's say for Antony, who started that game midweek, and you look and you think, such a huge call here from Ten Hag. I get it. He's your guy. You spent a hell of a lot of money on him, but I've probably seen more from the little cameos that Amad has had to suggest that what's the worst that could happen? And what a perfect game today. You've got Burnley.
Yeah.
Again, no disrespect to Burnley, but it's Burnley at Old Trafford as well. It's not at Turf Moor where it's going to be, could be a bit hostile. He's going to get knocked about. You're at Old Trafford. You've got 70,000+ fans behind you, singing your name, encouraging you. It's a perfect game to give him a run out, surely. And start the man, start him.
100% start. And one problem that I've had with the way how Ten Hag's treated Ahmad is he only really puts him in pressurised situations, which I don't think is fair. I don't think it's fair, especially because he is still young. We're forgetting Ahmad's, what, 21? Something like that, 21, 22. To always play him, to always be played in games where we have to score or we have to come back or the momentum's not on our side, it puts a lot of... It's difficult.
Do you know we had that... sorry to cut you off there.
That's all right.
We had that with... we were just having a discussion here. It's just like two lads sat about that. But I was going to say with Garnacho went through that phase where we never knew what Garnacho could be or brought to the team because he was constantly brought on when we were maybe losing a game.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring a player on like that with a Garnacho, the game was a lot more open. There's a hell of a lot more space. So the test for a player like Ahmad, and Garnacho had this, is actually starting a game because when a team's winning or losing, the game opens up. But to start from the first minute when a game's at 0-0, and a team like Burnley today could be compact, sitting, try roughing us up, whatever they want to do. But a lot of teams that have come to Old Trafford in the past, probably not this season, because they probably just think, this lot are just a big silly dog, you know, we'll just lie them over, tickle the belly and take 3 points out of Old Trafford. But that, for me personally, give Ahmad that chance. And let's see from the first minute where you're in a game that's set at 0-0, and, you know, if we take the lead, whatever it is, and confidence-wise as well, surely.
100%. And like you said with Garnacho, there was a point where a lot of people didn't want Garnacho to start because he was always better coming off the bench because he hadn't really given the opportunity. He hadn't been given many opportunities to start. And with certain players, especially the younger players, they have to get into a rhythm of starting the game, playing, not maybe not 90 minutes, but playing a longer amount of time before they can actually start to put in those performances early on in the game. Garnacho was a player where he was so impactful off the bench. People were like, let's not start him. Let's save him and keep him as an impact player. But the more Ten Hag started to trust him and to start in more games, he just got better and better and better. And now, it would be wild to not start Garnacho. It wouldn't make sense.
That's what I keep saying. What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
You know, and how many times as well, I'm not sure of the actual start itself, but Garnacho started a lot of games where Ten Hag brought him off at half-time.
Yeah.
So to me, that suggests, you know, it's a total different ball game.
Yeah.
As I say, at the risk of repeating myself, if United are 2-1 down, and you're going into the last 10 minutes and you bring somebody on, you know, and the momentum's with you, you're pushing for that goal, there's space, that you've got tired players as well. Yet from the first minute, you know, everybody should be kind of physically fit and at the races. So it is a different ball game. And that's why I keep kind of banging the Ahmad drum and saying, well, let's give him a go. You know, send him out there. And now, as I've just said before, if you've just joined us, Marcus Rashford is not in the starting 11 because of a minor injury. What's the worst that can happen? And even if he doesn't play as great as he normally does, like I said before, the same thing happened with Garnacho. He started the first few runs of games where he started, he wasn't great, he wasn't amazing, but it's something you just have to learn. You can't expect him to learn it if you're not giving him the chance to learn it. So let Ahmad have these runs of games where he is starting, let him build up a bit more confidence from you know, the first minute, build up a bit more game intelligence where he's playing against a fully fresh team and everyone around him is fully fit and there's no tiredness, no fatigue. Let him build up that knowledge of playing at this level, and eventually we're going to see a superstar player from Ahmad. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm sure everybody else is happy that he's potentially he started. We don't actually know, but potentially. Well, I look at the front three today. Obviously, Højlund would pick himself. Big goal for him midweek. And then you're looking at the wingers. We know that Rashford is out. So really, you could go with Garnacho. You could put him on the right. And you could put Ahmad on the left, you know. And again, what is the worst that could happen? But just on the actual team, hopefully we will be able to bring that to you shortly as an exclusive when Sam joins us from America. Was with the starting 11. We know that Rashford's out anyway. So your Mordzs Ten Hag, You're the bald messiah. Who are you? Do you go with the same team as Wednesday night? From your point of view, what would you?
I'm trying to remember who the exact team was.
Maybe you had Eriksen,
yeah,
obviously
Eriksen.
Mainu, and Bruno was the three in midfield.
I would say, okay, if we're talking about the midfield, because there's different parts of the pitch, I think defence-wise, probably, yeah, there's not really much to change there. If there's another centre-back that's available, we could throw him in, but I don't think there is. But yeah, in terms of the midfield, I think Bruno and Mainu, yes, and the conversation was really about Eriksen and McTominay, in my opinion. And my problem with Eriksen has always been fitness, stamina, early fatigue. Can he play 45 minutes? Can he play 60, 70 minutes? Can he play 90 minutes? I don't think he can play 90 minutes. So really and truly, it's about when do you want to bring when do you want Eriksen's impact to be on the game? Do you want it to be later on in the game where he can potentially ease the game up and take a bit more control? He's a lot more calmer on the ball. He's safe on the ball. He makes the right pass. He's not trying to do too many risky passes. And like the Coventry game, when he came on, it was a bit more cool when he came on the pitch. So for me, I'd rather start an Eriksen because, again, it's Burnley. We should be able to just hold the ball and be able to be a bit more compact, and then maybe bring on a McTominay second half where we might want to go at them a little bit more. McTominay's always been a player where he can get you a goal. He can put a bit more pressure on the opposition.
He's not the same when he starts.
He's not the same when he starts. I'd rather McTominay come on later on in the game and potentially just be that extra body where we can put a bit more pressure on Burnley if we need to. Put a bit more pressure on Burnley, but start Eriksen.
Yeah. I've got a quick super chat and then we're going to bring Sam in. So you do not want to leave for that one because we will have the breaking team news for you. But Kyle Robinson says Erik ten Hag deserves a no-nonsense pre-season. And I think that's something that a lot of Manchester United fans can certainly get behind. Now, with the power of technology, we are going over to Miami. I can see Sam. I can see legs. I like this, not in a weird way. It means it's really nice weather over there. And we are in Manchester where the rain clouds are gathering over us. But it is match day. Sam, welcome to the countdown to kick-off here on the United stand. How are we, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys? Everything good in Manchester?
Yeah.
Everything's great, man.
I'd prefer to be in Miami, if I'm not going to lie to you. But what news have you got for us, mate?
So, Marcus Rashford is not in the Manchester United starting 11. That is all I know right now. Twitter rumours, not my rumours, say that it's Antony in, so that I would assume it's then Garnacho, Rasmus and Antony, but I can't confirm that. All I can confirm at the moment is that Marcus Rashford does not start for Manchester United, but I am in the Miami Red Devils pub in the UK, bar here in Miami, and I'm joined with Stephen and Big G. Guys, how's it going?
Very good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. So, teams is going to come out in 2 minutes. What, Big G, would be your front three or your midfield three today? Should Mount come in?
Nah, I'm not sure if Mount's ready to play, but I would do Mainu, Bruno, and McTominay, I guess. That's just the state of where we are right now at the football club. And then your front three that you said, Garnacho, Antony, and Rasmus for sure.
Someone who is probably guaranteed to start today is Kobbie Mainu. What do you think of Kobbie?
Oh, Kobbie's been incredible from he's come in. He's just been a complete breath of fresh air in that midfield. And it'd be great to see more of those academy players coming through like him because he actually cares, unlike these overpaid players who will not name, but they're not putting any effort in. So I think Kobbie's a generational talent, and can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah, completely agree. Just a question quick for the cameraman, please. Can you turn your audio off? That was what the request was from Manchester. Don't mute. Mute your mic. Thank you very much. Matt, your Manchester United starting 11. Here it is. Andre Onana in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Diallo, Maguire, Casemiro, Kobbie, Eriksen, Bruno, Garnacho, Antony, Højlund. So one more time. Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Diallo, Maguire, Casemiro, Kobbie, Eriksen, Bruno, Garnacho, Antony, Højlund. So just by looking, it's unchanged from that scrappy win against Sheffield United. Big G, what do you make of that?
I'm surprised Eriksen keeps his place. I think, if we're going to play him, it's in a game like this where we're going to have the ball against a relegated team, let's be honest. So I don't mind that, but we got the win last game, so hopefully the same team can get us another win today.
Yeah, completely agree. Interesting that back four, obviously Manchester United have loads of injury problems this season, but what do you make of Casemiro as a whole and then Casemiro as a centre-back?
Look, I love Casemiro. I think Casemiro has been an incredible world-class player for years, obviously for Madrid. I thought last year he was awesome. He's on the back of my shirt. Love the guy, but his legs have just gone. And this season he's not been great. He's obviously been injured. He's been out for a bit, but he's just not the player he was last season. And I think I'd be very surprised if he's here next year.
Where do you think he could go?
I think he'll go to Saudi. I know there's players leaving Saudi, and obviously it's probably not what a lot of players thought it was going to be, but I don't see anybody else paying his wages. We've given him this crazy the contract's insane. It's like 5 years, done 300 grand plus a week. Nobody else is going to take him. He's not going back to Madrid. No other Premier League team's going to take it. The only team that could afford him would be Saudi, and it's the only logical sort of league to go to.
Let's say your Manchester United bench. Your Manchester United bench is just loading in. Bayindir, Amath, Jackson, Ahmad, Amrabat, Forson, McTominay, Mount, and the man who made his Manchester United debut last game, Ethan Wheatley. Mason Mount back in the Manchester United squad. Obviously, it's been very, bipolar with Mount. Sometimes he's fit, he'll play a good performance, then he'll be out again through to injury. What do you think of Mason Mount? Are you happy with the signing, or were you a bit surprised? Were you like, why do we need Mason Mount?
I thought it came out of nowhere, and it was worse when they gave him the 7 shirt. Apparently he wanted the 7 shirt, so you like that type of attitude, but
what I heard was that he was offered the 7 shirt.
See, that didn't make any sense when we have a homegrown talent that so desperately wants to be the number 7 in Garnacho. But I think Mason Mount, if he could stay healthy, plays a couple different positions, useful player. I want him to stay healthy, get a couple runs of games, and we'll see from there. But right now, the jury's still out.
Fair enough. I'm going to come to you on Erik ten Hag in a minute. I know that you want to have your say on Erik ten Hag. But I just want to ask you, what's it like supporting Manchester United from Miami? Is Manchester United popular in Miami? Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, look, it's great. So I'm from Belfast. I was part of a supporters club actually in the Republic of Ireland from back home in it was a town called Carlow. And so yeah, like I joined the Miami supporters club whenever I moved out here. I was like, there's got to be a United supporters club here. It's a good way to meet people. And yeah, look, came down here. The guys were so welcoming. The great thing about the supporters club here is, which is different from UK and Ireland, is people join the supporters club back home to get tickets because it's the only way to get tickets. And they join it here because they want to watch the game with other United supporters. They're passionate about the club. And you just don't get that back home. So for me, it's incredible. The Miami Red Devils are awesome club. Like last week for the Coventry game, this entire bar was just packed with United fans, singing songs, getting a few beers in, and everybody just enjoying the game. So, like, to be honest, I actually borderline, bar going to an actual game live, obviously, enjoy supporting them more from here than back home because you just watch it on the TV by yourself or with a couple of friends,
Love that. I don't know if we could just do a quick turnaround and show what it is like in the Miami Red Devils, not showing the Liverpool game because we'll get taken down for copyright. But this is what it's like. These guys open in 25 minutes. And if you're in Miami, get here. This is where you want to be. So, Big G, your time has come. Whoa. Chat, this is a big moment for Big G. Erik ten Hag, keep thick. You can't loan him because he's not a player.
Buy, sell, bench, loan. It's weird, right? I never wanted him as the manager. I was in the Pochettino camp when the two were gunning for the job. And now that everybody's kind of turned on him, I've kind of zagged the complete opposite way, where having a Dutch manager who's no nonsense is good for some players that need the attitude adjustment. But obviously some players, and it's the same players, so the last 4 managers just can't hack it. So it can't be all his fault. It just can't be. And I've heard other people say if he was on the market right now as our next manager, he would probably be the best option. So unless you think Tommy Tuchel could do a job, Nagelsmann, I would give it Ten Hag another year to prove himself with a new ownership, new structure in place. Give him a transfer window or two, see what he could do, get some of the dead weight out. Because there's not that many managers out there. We see Liverpool get their own bald Dutchman. They're in style right now, so I think we give him one more year, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. He needs to have a strong finish here, that's for sure.
Big G touched there briefly on INEOS and Sir Jim. What do you think of the INEOS regime?
So far, it looks pretty promising. I'll be honest. Whenever I heard the club was getting sold, whenever Sir Jim first came out and said he was going for the club, I was like, yes, all in on a British ownership and everything. And then when all the rumors started to come out that he was going to keep the Glazers in and take a minority stake, and then we had the Qatar rumors, I was just all Qatar, because I was like, we need to start competing with City. We need to start getting back to where we belong to be in the football pyramid. But because the Qatar thing never happened, I'm more than happy with how they've sort of come in. They seem to be. I love the backroom appointments. I think going and getting Omar Barada was a great sign-in. Hopefully we get Dan Ashworth from Newcastle across the line. That looks pretty close. The technical director that we've just got in recently, those are all great moves. I want to see them in a transfer window before I sort of make any kind of judgment. Are we going back to signing the Paul Pogbas of the world, or are we going to start to be more tactful and be we actually need this player? We talked about Mason Mount there. Mason Mount was, in my opinion, terrible signing. Why did we need that player? He was not the answer, and we massively overpaid for him. We could have got him free this year.
That was the Ten Hag signing as well.
Yeah.
How long's that?
Yeah. The signings haven't been great. Then the signings, if he does lose the job, are what's gonna get him sent home. Because with Garnacho, with Mount, with the little Brazilian winger that everybody doesn't seem to like, it's tough to defend him.
Just a quick score update as well. West Ham have equalised against Liverpool. That game is 2-2 in the 78th minute. Beth, not Beth. Beth isn't there today. Kev and Mordzs, do you guys have any questions?
You got a question?
Yeah, I mean, my question is really just based off. I want to know a bit more about the culture, the Man United culture, being obviously in Miami. Obviously, being in Manchester, we know what it's like. It's game day, red everywhere. I want to know a bit more about the culture of Miami when it comes to United, or just football in general.
Good question.
Yeah, no. So Miami, as many of your viewers will know, is a very international city. A lot of South American presence and Caribbean presence as well. But we do have a good English presence here, Irish one, and Northern Irish too. I don't want to.
Ryan, if you're watching, Northern Ireland.
But yeah. So on a day like Stephen was saying, all the boys will come down, watch the game. We're singing, we're chanting like we do in the stadium. I've been blessed to go to Old Trafford, but for a lot of our members, this is about as close as they'll get to going to Manchester. So we try to make it as close to the environment that you would get in a stadium. Everybody's friends with each other. We all get along. We know each other's families, and I've been a part of this group for 10 years now, and a couple of people have been from even before. So it's a really good vibe. We're trying to get our numbers back. We had a dip. There's a North London club that probably has the biggest numbers in Miami, but we're moving right up, and we're going to make sure that the Miami Red Devils will be the biggest club in the city.
Love it. Anything? Oh, yeah.
Here's one for you, Sam. First of all, Big G, absolutely love that Stone Roses shirt. I've got it myself, mate.
Come on, man. This is the one, boy.
This is the one. I love that, mate. I was going to ask the two of you, yourself and Steve, favourite Manchester United player of all time. Usually gives away your age, this sometimes.
Let's go with Stephen first.
Favorite player of all time?
Johnny Evans.
I go between two players because they were transitional for me. It's either Beckham or Ronaldo. Growing up, I was obsessed with David Beckham. Every Man United shirt, every single season had 7 Beckham on the back. I actually hated Ronaldo when we first signed him because I was so devastated that David Beckham had gone. And then Ronaldo obviously started becoming Ronaldo. And then I was like, this is the guy. So for me, Cristiano or David Beckham.
Love that. Big G.
I mean, it's hard to go against those two. David Beckham was the reason why I got into football and got into watching Manchester United. But outside of those two obvious ones, Park Ji-sung. Park Ji-sung was my favorite player to watch.
Yeah.
He was all over the pitch, madman. It's just
We could do with somebody like that now, Big G.
We need players like that right now. Say that again.
We could do with somebody like that now in this team.
We need a player like that right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We will wrap up and leave you guys from Miami there with our score predictions for today's game. Stephen?
3-2 United.
3-2 United. You think we concede?
Yeah.
First?
Yeah.
Typical.
Realistic.
Probably. I'm gonna go 3-1. 3-1 United. I think we put it away late, make everybody nervous for 65, 70 minutes.
Goal scorers?
Bruno's on fire, so you got to back him for one. Rasmus,
Nice.
another tap in. Let's get it. I need more tap ins from the big man. And you know what? Maguire, another header on the corner. Why not?
Maguire's a goal scoring machine at the moment. I will go with a nice 2-1 Manchester United win. Burnley to score first, Manchester United to come back. But that is all from Miami Red Devils. If you're in Miami, get down here. We want to see you. Thank you also very much for granting us access. I think it's been great. And Kev, Mordzs, back to you in Manchester.
Well, welcome back. That was a very, very interesting. A big thank you to our roving reporter, Sam. You had Steve and Big G as well. I was actually going to ask the question. We probably do with Big G in our midfield, couldn't we? We need an enforcer. He looks like somebody who could set about a midfield and certainly take hold of it. But we'll leave that for another time. But great to get an insight into the Miami Reds, wasn't it, Mordzs?
I mean, you know, we're an international club, man. Big club, big United. That's one of the positives about United. We've got such a strong fan base
worldwide.
Whenever we've done like calling shows, whatnot, you always hear like different accents across the world. So, I mean, biggest club in the country. Yeah.
We've got a super chat in there from Life People and Marketing. Says these two, it's me and you. These two are my favourite hosts. The sanest and the most logical. Thanks, guys, for a great pre-show. Sanest, honestly. If you see me at 11:30 at my local pub this evening, Sane and Kev would not even come into the same sentence. But what we can take from, obviously, crossing to Sam, Big G and Steve in Miami was the team news. If for any reason you've just joined us now, the team is exactly the same as Wednesday night against Sheffield United. So I've been banging the Ahmad drum all week. I was in the van banging the hard hat. Come on, Ahmad, I wanted him in. It's not happening. And I suppose, he's going with his guy, Antony, again, which he's setting himself up. You could look at it the other way, Mordzs, where United did get the result on Wednesday. Is he rewarding that team? Even though Antony, he didn't set the world on fire, did he?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really... Reward's a strong word to use. I don't think they deserve a reward for that performance, I'll be honest. If anything, they probably should be punished. It's a good... Yeah, we won the game, end of the day, 3 points to 3 points, that's what we want. But they wasn't a great all-round, full 90 minutes good performance. You should never be going down twice to Sheffield at home. You shouldn't. As a club that's supposed to be fighting for top four, supposed to be fighting for top four, we shouldn't be conceding 2 goals, going down twice, whatever you want to call it. That shouldn't be happening. So, yeah, Antony's not playing because he's being rewarded. That's not a thing.
I don't see it as that.
I more see it as like I said earlier on in the show, a case of Ten Hag just...
Is it favouritism creeping in?
I wouldn't even say creeping in.
Players are getting selected.
I mean, favouritism, he's been doing that all season. So it's not even like it's not like he's creeping in anytime soon. He's been doing it from the first game. So, I mean, if you could pick Rashford, he'd probably pick Rashford. So, yeah, I think it's just the same old Ten Hag that we've seen this whole season. He's getting to the point. I mean, we're probably going to talk about what he said about... Actually, no, let's
do you know what? Let's do that.
It's going to tie into to the point I want to make.
Is it the one about being title contenders or how long we... So Fabrizio Romano today tweeted out these comments from Erik Ten Hag, which said, when everybody is available, we're competing for top 4. Yeah. So when you I think Erik Ten Hag's been able to select his strongest starting 11 twice this season, which is something I use in his defence. 60+ injuries has been absolutely shocking. Yeah. He went on to say, we can come closer to first or second if we make a good transfer window. We have to strengthen in key positions and also in the depth of the squad, which is something we alluded to earlier. You know, when sometimes the bench a bit underwhelming. You know, what changes can you make? Who can you bring in? I know for a fact there will be United fans that will be all over this. I think that
100%.
They will be like going mental,
Yeah.
you know, ready to turn up at Old Trafford with the pitchforks, the sticks with a ball of fire on top or whatever,
10 out.
claiming, because I remember David Moyes when he said we aspire to be like, what was it, Liverpool or Man City or something at the time, and that was a wrong choice of wording. For me, and fans will go mad about this because they'll say, what's the ambition of the club? What's wrong with being realistic? Does anybody actually believe that one summer transfer window, a good transfer window this summer, turns us into title contenders? Because Manchester City, Liverpool, whoever it's going to be, they've not sat back like we have.
Yeah.
You know, you stand still in football.
You fall out.
And the chasing pack have overtook us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get back there. Manchester City at the end of the season are not just going to go, we're sound with the squad. And even if they were anyway, you know, we're still trying to get up to them levels, aren't we?
There's no such thing as standing still in football because nobody else is standing still. So if you think you're standing still, you're not. You're just waiting for someone to overtake you. That's all you're doing. And in terms of, you know, him saying that, you know, we're not title contenders, we're not going to be title contenders, I feel like it's just
Is he being realistic?
Yeah, he is, and it's a harsh reality for a lot of United fans. That's the point I want to make. We don't want to hear that.
So the people that now will say, "Oh, Ten Hag, you know what's he said?" The one thing I've criticised him for after games, even after the Coventry game to an extent, because I always say you can't pull the wool over supporters' eyes. We watch this, I say this shit, every week, you know, where... So for a manager to come out and start going, yeah, it was brilliant, we controlled the game, you go, do you know what, I just want a bit of honesty. Just come out and say, I wasn't happy with the performance, you know, I'm going to talk to the players, we will address this. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get the feeling that what he's saying is just kind of covering up. And I think, why should you cover up for these players?
Yeah, because a lot of people liked Rangnick for doing the same thing. Rangnick was being honest.
To him,
He was being honest. He was saying exactly what it is, exactly what the team is, exactly what he thinks the future of the team is. And people were like, you know what? At least he's being honest with us. And people have complained all season about Ten Hag just, I don't even want to say lying because it's a strong word to put on him, but him just not being honest.
It's a defence mechanism. Yeah. I get that, but sometimes. You know, there's been a lot of talk recently, he's thrown Garnacho under the bus or this and that. But sometimes, if you're not getting it back from your players, you think, well, why should I defend you? But at the same time, you look at an argument today with team selection and you kind of think, well, he's gone and chose Antony again. Yeah. So I keep saying this, and there's decisions that he's making ultimately could lead to, you know, it sounds crazy, but could lead to him losing his job. At United, but he will have nobody to blame except himself. He's in a position where he can make these changes. He's not today. He's gone with the same team, which, all right, you know, we'll see how it goes. It's Burnley. But the big decisions, aren't they? Yeah,
and I think with Ten Hag, my problem, one of my problems anyway, is that if Ten Hag was, first of all, there's two things. One, him saying that we're not going to be title contenders next season, I feel like that kind of takes a bit of confidence away from the players, because he's pretty much saying that the guys that we have are not good enough, and he's saying that he's not saying it directly to them, but he pretty much is, because they're going to know he's saying it.
And imagine the pressure he puts on himself by saying, if I get the players in I want this summer, we will compete for the title next season. Yeah, everyone will be like, he's lost the plot, man. What's he on about?
And it all comes down to him basically his I don't know what the term is, but him basically saying the right things. And I think as a manager, it's personality. Best talks about this all the time. Personality is a big part of being a manager, and being able to say the right things at the right time. Because at the end of the day, you're not just speaking to the press, you're not just speaking to journalists, you're speaking to your players as well, because they're listening as well. You're speaking to the fans, you're speaking to everyone. Everyone's listening and taking into account what you're saying. So you have to make sure you're saying the right things in the right way. If Ten Hag had said, I don't think Ten Hag would have said this at the start of the season. He wouldn't have. There's no way Ten Hag would have come out at the start of the season and said, we're not competing for the title this season. He wouldn't have said that. He wouldn't have said, oh, we're not competing for the title next season. Because in his eyes, he probably would have thought that the team that he had, including the new signings that he had, were probably good enough for him to maybe not compete against City. You never know. Maybe not compete against City, but to do a good job. Yeah. It's the fact that we played terribly this season that he's now backtracking and thinking, oh, these players that I do have aren't good enough. So I just think now, next season, is he going to say the same thing? Is he going to be less confident in these players, or is he going to build a bit more confident? I don't know. It kind of shows that, first of all, the team overachieved last season because we shouldn't be coming third and then Ten Hag saying a year later we're not competing for the title. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it also shows that, like I said before, his confidence in his players, because there's a lot of his players in the team right now, his confidence in his players is not strong. It's falling out, it's weak, I feel like it's getting weaker and weaker every single game.
Yeah, I suppose we're close to coming to the end, but one thing we will get through that we always do on Countdown to Kick Up, we have our ones to watch.
Yeah.
Make sure you get involved in the chat as well. We want score predictions. Let me know what you think of the team selection. Again, if you just joined us, it is the same team that beat Sheffield United midweek. So Ten Hag, whether it's rewarding them players or what, I don't know, but I don't pick the team. We just break the news here on the United Stand. So thanks again to Sam for that. But our ones to watch, Mords, you've chose 2. For some reason, I've chose 3 players. Don't know how that works, but if you want to, the first one you've gone for was a player that I actually chose last week for the Coventry game.
Yeah.
He's no secret to Manchester United fans, absolute shining light the season so far. Kobbie Mainoo. Over to you, Mords.
Yeah, the reason why I picked Kobbie Mainoo is, I've said, I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself anyway, but he is our best player. I'm talking about ability-wise. He is genuinely Manchester United's best player. And I feel like in that midfield, especially because we're playing him next to Eriksen and Bruno, Eriksen, without the lack of legs there, he's going to be kind of what's the term, where he's kind of helping Eriksen a little bit. He's putting in a bit more dog work for Eriksen because Eriksen's not going to be able to run. But he's going to be the legs in the team next to Eriksen. So I think he's going to have a huge impact in that midfield, mainly in my opinion. He's going to be the guy who I think is going to make United tick. Bruno's going to do what Bruno does. In fact, we don't even know what Bruno's going to do. He could play like he played against Sheffield, did he score once and get 2 assists, or score twice, get an assist? He could do that, or he could play how he played in other games and just be quiet or just make a lot of mistakes. I think Mainoo is going to be the player who is going to be the most consistent throughout the whole 90 minutes if he plays the whole game, and he's going to be the one who has the biggest impact. I
think that's a key area that Manchester United need to address in the summer. I said this on the Thursday night show, that the midfield area we've got away with. We signed an Eriksen, Casemiro, but that couple of years is such a huge difference on them 2 players and their ability, the legs. It's such a key area. It's the reason why, even leading into this, I was thinking I wouldn't mind seeing Mainoo and Amrabat, as the 2 in there, because at least you've got the legs next to Mainoo. I do feel that Mainoo gets he gets left isolated on so many occasions, and even when you watch a game back, you kind of see him making these runs, and he's hesitant because he's not babysitting, but he's constantly watching the midfield partner to, if he's with Casemiro, I don't want to leave him exposed.
You've got to cover.
When you've got is he just turned 19, Mainoo? When you've got a 19-year-old kid that's so clever at that, you can see he's actually doing that sometimes. He's thinking, I don't want to bomb forward, I'll sit back. But I think if you get an ideal, player next to him with the legs, good attributes, whatever it is, I think the midfield just transforms, 100%.
And that's 2 players, him and Eriksen. When we're in possession, that's 2 players that can keep the ball very, very well. And I think that's what we kind of need today. Just be able to take control of the game. Take the midfield. We've been calling for that for years. Yeah. We've been calling for that for so many years. Get a group of players in that can just dictate the midfield and control the game, keep possession. I think in the first half we're going to have a huge majority of the possession, because we've got 2 players that can play that safe pass and not have to always risk it. Bruno's a riskier player, so he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna do what he does anyway. He's gonna play those scary passes at some points. But the 2 players behind him, I mean, usually when it's Casemiro gives away the ball quite a lot, in my opinion, especially when he's trying to ping it forward and find the wingers, find the attacking players. He loses it a lot. But whereas Mainoo and Eriksen, they're more relaxed on the ball.
Eriksen used the ball really well. I watched the game back the other day. I thought he was brilliant. Just the simple passes. Don't give it away in silly areas. It keeps the ball, allows us to get out the field. And you look at a performance like that, and for somebody like that, you made the point earlier, didn't you, about his legs? Can he last? Is he the player to come on for the last half an hour to see it out? Erik ten Hag has chosen today, obviously, that Eriksen will start the game. So we'd be hoping that the damage is maybe done before that point of... it always seems to be that way, that it gets to 60, 65 minutes and Ten Hag will look to bring Eriksen off. But he does have options on the bench. Obviously, Sam mentioned that Mason Mount's back as well. I'd love to see him, you know, what he's all about. But your second one to watch, our captain, Portuguese Magnifico,
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno.
The reason why I picked Bruno, and it's not even necessarily just because of what he did last game, because he did have a great game. Obviously, he scored an amazing goal. It's really just based off the fact that I think going forward, and this is a bit of a wild thing to say, but he is genuinely our biggest threat going forward. In my opinion, right now, he's our biggest threat. Even though Højlund scored last game, I still think he's a bit quiet during games. Rashford, he's not playing anyway, but only other two players is Antony, who, again, not had a great run of games, in my opinion, and Garnacho, who's played a lot of football, and I don't know if he has the same amount of energy that Bruno has, because Bruno can play a full 60-game season every game and still put
insane, isn't it?
And still put the same amount of effort from the first game to the last game. Garnacho was his first time doing that, and he kind of seen him a bit slow up a little bit, into the later stages of the season. So Bruno, for me right now, is our biggest threat, and I think he, like I said before, he can pull out things like he pulled out against Sheffield. He can pull out things which other players can't do, and I think he's going to be crucial in these last 5 games, 6 games left of the season, obviously including the FA Cup. He's going to be so crucial to us offensively getting these goals and potentially setting up, you know, whoever, the Højlund, the Garnacho, Antony, potentially Rashford. He's going to be crucial in getting those goals. So yeah, I think Bruno is he could end up being our man of the match every game to the end of the season if he plays well and if he actually does what he needs to do.
He's in form at the minute.
He's in form right now, yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, for me, he's Marmite between the Manchester United fans, because I'll meet somebody who thinks he's absolutely brilliant. You know, like you say, he can set the tone, the press, whatever. He was really good midweek, and we alluded to the fact that maybe an Eriksen, a calming presence in that midfield, meant that he didn't have to be as erratic. I like Bruno, you know, but at the same time, I have looked at the mistakes that he's made, the fact of not being able to retain the ball, maybe giving it away in silly areas. But sometimes I think if you take that away from him, like you said, you know, he's the one risk taker. You know, Scott McTominay is not going to kill a ball dead and look for Højlund running.
He can't.
You know, he's just going to give it left or right. You know, let's get the passing stats up. But yeah, he's different in that sense, because he sees things that other players don't see.
And a lot of times, Bruno, what he's had to do in other games is he's had to come and find the ball deeper into the pitch. That's why you see Bruno sometimes next to the centre-backs, because he's looking for the ball. He wants the ball so much. Today, we've got 2 players behind him that are probably better on the ball than he is, as in like just keeping the ball. So he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to drop so deep into the pitch to come and collect the ball. Main is going to have the ball to be able to find him. Eriksen's going to have the ball and be able to find him, which means he can just focus on being that offensive presence and being that threat going forward. And that's where we're going to see the best. That's where we have seen the best Bruno in the past and this season as well.
Yeah. Mario Franco on the Super Chat, nice one, sir, says, you don't change a winning team. He's consistent.
Yeah.
We've got another one from Ketshadil Modis. I think I've smashed that one out of the park, haven't I? The pronunciation of that. Maybe you'll let me know anyway, but says, come on, guys. You guys are always on the opposite of the manager. If he said, yes, we will compete, I am sure he will still be criticised. He will, and he can't win at this moment in time.
Can't. It's his own fault.
Where's the point of sending some kind of false hope? To be honest, if he'd have said that, I'd have been at the point where I'd say he's lost the plot. Yeah. He's absolutely deluded. How can you say that signing 3 or 4 players this summer, selling a few, and all of a sudden we're going to be competing against the likes of what Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City next season? Yeah. It's not going to happen that quickly. And I know everybody wants a quick fix, but it just doesn't work that way in football terms. Alonso... is that the same person? No, Alonso Maronilla says, glad they left out Rashi, get some rest and head right. United 5, Burnley 1. Great as always, Kev. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for the positivity. I would take 5-1 any day of the week because that would probably mean that Manchester United have absolutely battered Burnley. My free to watch, if we've got time to run through them, I'd gone with Rasmus Højlund. Yeah. Simply because was on the goal trail. Was it 7 in 6? Injured, which was a real blow to Højlund and to Manchester United, but then has come back, not been on the goal trail, and like any goal scorer, obviously people start talking, things are written, is he a waste of money, this, that, but he's a young lad. Massive goal midweek for me, because if he wants to get on this goal trail, and again, this is all now about kind of sealing Europa League qualification. And like I said, it's an audition and a kind of training session now up to the fact that we play Manchester City in an FA Cup final. So we need Højlund fit and firing. Hopefully he can score again today. But before we exit, we will get a score prediction from Mordzs and myself. The second player on mine was the lad that I was beating the drum for, Ahmad. He's on the bench, isn't he?
He'll come on.
Yeah.
He'll come on. I don't know when he's going to come on.
You can still have him as a one to watch. Yeah, you can watch him on the bench. You can watch him warming up at the side of the pitch, and we will see. But like you say, I think there will come a point, and this is where Ten Hag's substitutions become a little tedious because you can almost call them. Yeah. You know, there's no like, wow, what's this sub? Yeah. And if it is going to be that he starts Antony and Antony doesn't really impress that much, you would think that Ahmad, or whether it's Garnacho, I don't know, but obviously we will have to see how this game goes today.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken off Garnacho a lot recently, you know, and I'm not saying it's because of Garnacho that's come off, but every time he has come off, ended up conceding a lot of goals. So I don't think
you put it down. I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it down to it, but you never know. He could take off Garnacho again and put on Antony and put on Ahmad. So I genuinely don't know.
Garnacho's not been training 100%, has he? I mean, in the week leading up to the Coventry game, and Garnacho's face, you know, he clearly wasn't happy getting brought off. And why wouldn't you? You know, you
want to play.
Yeah. But I think from Ten Hag's point, he was trying to probably protect the player. Probably looked and he did say after that game that he hadn't trained that much in the week, so a
little bit fatigued.
Yeah. So he's looking after him. But Garnacho's a young lad. Like any lad like that, the lad worships Ronaldo. Don't worship the attitude of the player. The last one I went with was Garnacho, funnily enough. Yeah. And again, I go with it because difficult kind of couple of weeks, I would say. People reading into body language and that, which they will. He's been brought off. Clearly not happy with that. But I don't see there being an issue there. And Garnacho, again, it's just all about getting back into form, 100%. Isn't it?
I mean, I've got a point I'm making Garnacho, but I don't want to make it now because we ain't got that time. I'll make it on the forum, actually. We'll be back in the forum, depending on how he plays, or depending on what point I'm going to make.
Good stuff. Quickly, score prediction then.
I think we've scored quite a few goals recently, so I think we're going to score 3 again.
I'm with that.
We're going to concede.
I'm not with that. I was thinking Maguire and Casemiro. I was thinking that. But we'll try and get through that one. Stephen Cogburn. God, I was close to saying something else that was sounding wrong. Says, put in a bid for Salah, 2+1 years and 350 grand a week. We don't take any dirty scousers there at Manchester United. But thank you very much, Mordzs. We'll be on the forum straight after the game, hopefully discussing a Manchester United win. What can they raid the chat with on Mark's stream?
Ooh.
We're going to send you straight over just before we wrap up here on the countdown to kick off. Mr. Goldbridge is live now and will take you through the game.
Something to do with Miami.
Miami Reds.
Miami Reds. What's American flag?
Miami Vice. He won't know what's the crap, really. Yeah. USA. We'll go with that.
Yeah, put USA,
Yeah, get yourself over to the watch along now for Mr. Goldbridge and simply 3 capitals USA. Get spamming it. Yeah, Mark's going to be like, what the hell is going on? He'll be like, and he'll be like, USA will do. You've been watching the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This was the United Stand. Come on, United!